ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतः चार्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्मविदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। धर्मः प्रोज्झितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सताम् वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम्। श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिस्तक्षणात् शुश्रूषुभिस्तक्षणात्। The beauty of Satsanga Shravana is in the listener's power of listening, which is called Shravana. How effective is this Shravana? Sushrushubihi tat kshanat sadyaha. At that very instant that you hear, the intensity of hearing or listening, that the culmination of Shravana happens. Too wordy. Can you just break it down into English? Okay. The easy way to understand, when somebody calls you out by your name, as long as you have not heard it, you don't respond. The moment you hear your name being called, however twisted it is being called, Yudav, and that is how my name gets called if I am on standby. After Brahm, everything goes into Brahma, then I know that is my name. If it is the last name being taken, then Yudav. First name being taken, Brahmshari. Brahmsi Hari. I have heard in various twisted formats. So the moment I hear my name, I immediately respond. There is no lapse of any time. There is no lapse and waste of any time. The moment I hear my name, I respond. So what is happening here? Sushrushabhihi, the moment you hear and you hear your name, the way you respond is, yes, it is me. Similarly, when we are intensely in Shravana, the Shravana should reflect, or the Shravana in fact should start from the perspective that I am the truth and this indicator takes me home. The moment I hear, that clarity, that awareness is where I should be drawn to, taken to. Sushrushabhihi takshanat, that very moment. And this Bhagavatam, this is the Shravana of the Bhagavatam that is being talked about. The Bhagavatam, the moment you hear, you have to be as awareful, as ready as Gokarna was. You remember who is Gokarna? Those of you who have just come, this comes as the story in the very beginning. Dundukari's brother, Dunduli's son. Actually, Dunduli's sister's son. Gokarna was born to the cow, holy cow. So even Dundukari was so qualified after having gone through so much of pain in his life that one Shravana and he got liberated. Now Gokarna was somebody who was not ready to let go. He said, everybody has heard it, what is the trick? He said, he has heard it with the intensity to get out of this, and those of them who have not liberated have come to listen to it for time pass, TP aspect. At TP there are many meanings. There is a total punya effect, so that I acquire little punya. TP is time pass. Anyway, I was sitting at home and I can come and sit here too. But that Shravana done by Dundukari and Gokarna, it gave them that knowledge, that awareness at that very moment, at that very instance. For the rest of us who have not had it, the next process, the next step for it, I would say, not almost all of us, all of us come into the next category. That we do the Shravana. With Shravana there is an understanding at the intellectual level. Tat kshanat. Or else those factors which have not become very clear are like the splinter in your head, they are constantly nagging inside. Until you reach through your contemplative processing to that state of clarity at your intellectual level. Now this Shravana has been always praised. Binu satsanga vivek na hoi. Without the Shravana through satsanga, there cannot be viveka, discriminative intellect. And in the Bhakti chapters, we hear that without the Shravana of the greatness of the Lord, there cannot be the devotion for the Lord in your heart. So whether it is for Viveka or for Bhakti, Shravana is something very important. Now with that Shravana, with that contemplation, it takes us towards contemplation. One beautiful aspect of this Bhagavat, one very important story of this Bhagavat, that I would say this is our second attempt to read through it, because the first attempt got cancelled because of the inclement weather. And it would freeze one day and then it would stop and then again freeze the day after. So it was very difficult to continue this last time we had scheduled it. This important or a very beautiful aspect that we have often heard at various levels is called Kshira Sagara Mathana, the churning of milky oceans. It's a very beautiful story, and the depth of this story is also very contemplative. So that is where we left last time. That is where we will continue this time also. So both this Devatas and Asuras have always been Daityas, Deva and Daitya. One is called Aditya, the other ones are called Daitya. Both are born to the same father, Kashyapa Mahamuni. But one with a totally, these both categories, those who are born to Diti and those who are born to Aditi, though from the same father, they are like 180 degrees apart in their behavior and tendencies. One were the Daityas born to Diti, and the other ones were the Adityas who were the Devas. They always had constant tussle. Constantly there was tussle. So one such situation that Indra, usually one good thing about Indra is until he gets beaten up, thoroughly pulped, he doesn't remember the Lord. So once he gets thoroughly pulped, he does remember the Lord and run to his refuge. And the Lord gives him the method or means, awakens a method or means in his heart. The Daityas, even after being pulped, seldom not think of God. Even by mistake, oh my God is also not uttered. At least by mistake we do utter his name by saying, and if you are in your SMing text messaging, OMG. Daityas never think of God. Indra and his party think of the Lord. It is typical human tendency, right? When everything is fine, everything is okay, I feel I am in the best place. There is nothing that can beat me. And even the philosophy that we keep hearing and the little bit of spirituality that we keep accumulating at our top chamber, we feel that it has been tested, verified, and we are now abiding almost in that truth. Once to whack, like Indra gets whacked, and everything inside starts shaking. Like a little tiny creeper in a fall season which has lot of leaves, one little breeze, all the leaves fall down. All the understanding gets shaken up and you start dwelling deeper. Now Indra is of that category. Now Daityas, in spite of being pulped, they're so dense. The thick-skinned ones. In fact, it is not trying to condemn them as thick-skinned. It is only out of compassion that I am calling them thick-skinned. At least the people who are with the tendencies like Indra, when they get little pulped, they go to the Lord, they have a solution in their heart. But poor fellows have to be pulped again and again for how many lives? No, not. It continues. So there is such similarities that you can see between the Daityas and Devas and in our own patterns and tendencies. So one such time, when Indra gets pulped down, he runs to the Lord. He says, enough of this, do you have some permanent solution for us? I do not have a permanent solution for your bickering, but I can give you a permanent solution so that you can be strong from within. So he says, what is the method? So he says, for this, you will have to include the asuras also. No, then I don't want that solution. Then the Lord tells him, listen, at times, for the benefit of the large, you will have to include people who may be a nuisance inside better than a nonsense outside. And this Siddhanta that the Lord is explaining Indra, in a voluntary organization like ours, I see it reflecting quite efficiently. When they are inside, they are little nuisance value. Fine, you accept it and the vehicle keeps moving. And because of the nuisance value, you put them aside. The nonsense value that increases because they are outside. The Lord says, put them in your team. Collectively work for it. So he says, okay, what is the method? He says, there is this beautiful mountain called the Mantharachala. You have to go request that Mantharachala to be used in this process. And ask Vasuki, the Nagaraja, to also be of your help. Bring these two to the Milky Ocean, and the Lord gives them step-by-step process for every single thing that could be done. He says, bring these two to the Milky Ocean, Kshirasagara, and then tie that Vasuki around the mountain. Devas on one side and the Asuras on one side start churning, because in the Garbha, in the womb of this Milky Ocean is Amrita Kalasha. And that can be brought out only after good churning. Have you ever churned for butter from? There's a process involved, right? First the cow has to eat the grass, and then the milk is to be taken. That milk has to be boiled in such a way that you don't there is no further processing in between. In today's technology, after the milk is taken, then it goes through the processing called pasteurization. Before or after this pasteurization, they remove certain contents and add certain contents. After having removed all the contents, then they add certain percentages of few contents that are already there in it. Have you ever had this 0% milk? Skimmed milk, that's what they call. See, what is the difference between skimmed milk and whole milk? One is fat free, the other one is free fat, freely available. And then they start adding all these, vitamin D and calcium, and then omega 3, 6, 9, vitamin A, and even hormones enhanced, right? Arre baba, that is no more a milk then. I tell you, when you go back to India and that fresh milk, uska swad hi alag hota hai. So you take that milk, boil that milk, and a thick layer of malai that comes on the top, cream. Along with that cream, you add the culture into that milk, bacillus, or there are many such acidophilus, those cultures are added into it. Usually the old yogurt, whatever is left, you throw it into this little lukewarm milk and let it sleep for the night. In the morning, ekdam tagda tight. After the sleep at night, it wakes up tagda tight. That is yogurt. Now that yogurt is again churned. It depends on as to how many cows you have at home. In villages, I have seen this big, it was the earthen pot, very big one, and that they have already had the yogurt. And then the rod to churn, the stick itself is this thick. So this is not with the hand like the small little thing that you have at home you start churning. So they tie a rope around that. There's a nice groove around that, and then you stand little distant away, and this stick has to be not coming along with you. So there is a little two hooks kind of a thing through which that stick goes, so that the stick, either there are many methods. So the stick doesn't have to move; it gets that firmness, and then the base of that stick, it's like Bhima's Gada. The entire structure is like Bhima's Gada. It's really that big. At least this big, round, circular, with lot of teeth on it. And then you start churning. That is why those people who were living in villages, they have lived so healthy. Half an hour you do this, all your calories are burnt. In today's trend, I am going for a walk. The first thing you do for going for a walk is take out your car. So you can drive all the way somewhere and there you can walk. In those days it was not at all required. All that you do this once half an hour. So they churn and take the butter out, and there is a timing for it. You overdo it, the butter melts. You underdo it and do it without consistency, it never comes. So consistent effort of that half an hour without a break in between, and you start checking in between, and that butter comes. It is no way comparison to what we get in the stores, whether it is salted or unsalted. That taste, that freshness, no comparison. So we were like all cousins in the village, and they take this butter out. 3/4 of it would be done, and when it goes to the kitchen, it would be only a little small little dish that it goes in. Taste of it, even you think of it as different. Probably that is why Lord Krishna, we'll come to that in 10th canto. So after that butter is taken, then it is put on fire in a big container, and that butter melts, and all the impurities in that are burnt out. Finally what comes out is ghee. It's one of the most purest. Have you ever seen ghee developing mold? Then it is not ghee. It is such pure that there is hardly any contaminant that can contaminate ghee. Similarly, the Lord says, churn the milky ocean. So what is the churning rod? The churning rod is Mantharachala. What is the rope that goes around Mantharachala so that they can churn? That will be the Vasuki Nagaraja. So this is what Indra is still not convinced. How do I bring in all these Daityas in here? They don't believe, because they have already snatched our Swarga. They are already sitting on a high pedestal. When we go there, they are going to. He says it is impossible. Then the Lord explains, Ahi Mushikavad Devaha Arthasya Padavim Gataihi. This is in the 6th chapter, 20th shloka of 8th canto. So Ahi Mushikavat. What does Ahi Mushikavat? Ahi is a snake, Mushika is a rat. It is like the snake and the rat situation. Now in Nyaya Shastra there is a usage for this. By mistake there was a rat that fell into the, those snake charmers, they have a little basket. So in that basket there is a snake. By mistake in that basket, when the snake charmer had taken that snake out and played it along and then put that snake back, by the time the snake came back, it had a companion. There was by mistake a rat inside. So, wow, thank you, this is a good food for me. Every day I get stale food, now it is fresh food. Not fresh from the freezer, fresh, live food. This is a wait, don't eat me. Here is an opportunity. If you let me live now, I will tell you a method that both of us can go out of this alive. I am an expert in making holes. I can make this basket that you are living in a holy basket. And then you and I can run away from here. I can help you. So the snake thought, not a bad idea. So the hole was made. No sooner that the hole was made, the snake ate the rat and also left. So this is called Ahimushika Nyaya. So when it was mentioned, Indra got instigated. Not a bad idea. It will be a sweet revenge. So they went, as they were asked. So before these Indra and the party left for, the Lord said, this comes in the 25th shloka, Nabhetavyam kalakutat vishajjaladhi sambhavat lobhah karyo navo jatu roshah kamastu vastushu. So the Lord forewarned Indra and the other devas who had assembled there. He says, in this entire process there will be lot of effort involved, lot of painful effort involved. Do not lose your heart in between. Do not abandon this particular work that you are going to take up anywhere in between. Come what may. There will be situations wherein you will have to face Kalakuta Visha, which is Halahala. Still, do not be scared. Visha Jaladhi Sambhavat. There could be, poison infused rain. Still, do not give up. Lobaha na karyaha. This is a very beautiful sentence. Never have greed for anything in this world. Never have a desire for anything in this world. Okay. And once you have desired for something and you don't get it, do not get angry. So the Lord says, Lobaha na karyaha. Don't have greed for anything that comes as a result of this. And do not desire for anything in first place. After having given such strict instructions, all the devas went into their own directions. Indra, with a couple of these main predominant devas like Varuna, Agni, Vayu, Yama, went to King Bali's place, Raja Bali. Now Raja Bali, when the entire Raja Bali's team, Daityas, saw these devas walking in, many of these ministers jumped up saying, this is the opportunity, they do not have their Astra Shastra. Forget Pete Dale. In Hindi they have this saying, na rahegi baas, na bajegi basuri. If there is a cause, there will be effect. Remove the cause. These devas, these main ones are here and they don't have any Astra Shastra, finish them. It's almost like, Daityas, the minister saying, Thok du kya? So Bali says, sit in your places. As he was one righteous Daitya king. When you think of the Daityas, there are a couple of them who were really righteous. One of them was Prahlada himself. The second one is Bali. He was very righteous, very pious man. When they have come into our place, which we have occupied, they were living in Swarga there. They were living, but we have occupied, now this is our place. When they have come into our place, without any weapons, it will not be manly to hunt them like any wild animals. So let us see why they have come here for. Let us talk to them. So Bali, invites these devas to sit in front of him. Bali is sitting on a higher position. He gives Indra and others to sit down. He says, "Ha, kaho, kyun aaye ho?" And this position had gotten reversed. Earlier, it would be Bali and the other Daityas who would go approach Indra whenever there was a pact to be signed, a truce to be signed. And they keep signing these truce agreements and then keep breaking it. This fellow bombs that fellow bombs this fellow. Back and forth hota rehta hai. It's an eternal Gaza strip. So he gave them that position and put his foot up and said, "Yes, Indra, why have you come here? I see that you do not have your weapons. Why may I ask that you have come and presented yourself in front of me?" So now Indra explains the entire process that the Lord has explained to Indra. He explains it to Raja Bali. Raja Bali also thinks for a while. He says, "Be my guest, treat Swarga as yours for a couple of days." The same Swarga where Indra was sitting, which was occupied by these Daityas. He said, "Be my guest for a couple of days. I'll have my people. We'll have a meeting. We'll have our executive body meeting and decide, come to a decision." And quickly enough they came to a decision and said, "We will fight you. We will work with you." So as soon as this was decided, both the devas were very inspired and the Daityas were also very inspired, both eyeing for that Amrita. Amrita, that nectar which is in the womb of the Kshira Sagar. So they went first to Mantharachala. Now when they went to Mantharachala, they asked him to sign memorandum of understanding. In fact, it was Mantharachala who asked, "I come, but what you give me?" There should be something in there for me too, right? Yes, one portion of the nectar that is born will be given to you. Okay. Accepted. So Mantharachala. Now the task was to get that Mantharachala from its place all the way to Ksheerasagara. And there were two disadvantages. One, Mantharachala was very huge. Second, the distance was too much to be covered. But somehow when you look at these two warring parties coming together to work, each one wanted to outdo the other. By showing off that they had more strength, the Daityas wanted to show off their strength and the Devas wanted to show off their strength. So they all pulled that Mantharachala, uprooted it, carried it. Soon, all their rosha, all their initial energy, like a bubble, bursted. And that Mantharachala fell on many of these Devas, many of these Daityas. And those who could get out of the way, they got out of the way. And out of despair, they called the Lord. They just thought of the Lord and he was already there on his Garuda. With his drishti, Kripa Kataksha drishti. Because these people were like, Bhagna Manasaha. They had lost their heart, they had lost their limbs, that is okay. They had lost their heart. They didn't think that they would be able to do anything. So the Lord looked at them. Just by his glance, all the Devas and Daityas seemed to gather a lot of energy. A lot of enthusiasm was back in their hearts. And the Lord, as though with his left hand, picked that Mantharachala and brought it to Ksheerasagar. He said, okay, you can't do it, I'll help you. Now, let us pause here. Because when you take the entire story which runs into 6-7 chapters, by the end of the 7th chapter, when I say the significance of this spiritually is, by the time the half of the story is already, the details, finer details of the story is forgotten. So let us pause here and think about this. Inside a human system, there are Daityas and there are Devas. Both of them have their own strong logics. Both of them have it. Sometimes the Daitya's logic looks so beautiful that you cannot really escape, you don't have an answer for such logic. Such beautiful logic that this is called Charu Vak. Charu meaning that which is really beautiful. Vak, speech. Such convincing. Though illogical, they can present it so beautifully. You want to hear some of such logics? I tell you very, very simple logic. One of the simple logics. Supposing we believe that this world was created by God. Supposing. You believe in God? Yes. Supposing this entire world was created by God. Who created you all? God created you. Now God created such beautiful world, right? Yes. God created you also with eyes, nose, ears, mouth, smell, touch, with all these indriyas. Yes. If God had not created you with all these different indriyas, then probably I would say that you are supposed to be not indulging in this world. Now if the God himself has created you and created the world also, as interesting to each one of these indriyas There's a beautiful world for the eyes. There's a world of sounds for the ears. There's a world of smell for the nose. There's a world of taste. That world is so beautiful. And he has also provided a bottomless pit. Khate jao, khate jao, khate jao. It temporarily thinks, it feels like it is fulfilling. In 2-3 hours, again, a bottomless pit that he has created. So you can taste the entire world, satiate your taste buds. What these scriptures and what these sannyasis and these rishis claim is all bogus. This world that has been created is created by that God. He has created us also with all these capacities for only one reason. Khao piyo mauj karo. What is the true translation of that into English? Eat, drink and be merry. Same logic everywhere, it applies. Khao piyo mauj karo. Eat, drink and be merry. Isn't it that convincing? कभी सोचा ही नहीं स्वामी जी ऐसे. I did not think it in this way. And now that you say it, really seems very logical and appealing. I trust God and He has created all this. Let me indulge. So there are these Daityas and Devas inside. And who is having a stronger hold inside? I am not going to answer that one. You decide for yourself. As per this story, Daityas are holding a stronger hold. And the Devas feel very weakened. The only strength that the Devas have, the only hope that the Devas have, is to think of the Lord. So there is a Herculean task given. What is the Herculean task given? To churn the Milky Ocean. What is the Milky Ocean that we have? It's called the Antahkarana. Antahkarana, the inner equipment is the Milky Ocean. Milky Ocean of possibilities, potentialities. Huge, vast. Just I'll take one little example of this Antahkarana. One fragment of this Antahkarana is called Chitta or memory. How huge and vast is our Chitta memory? Everything that is not important, everything that is worth to be thrown, trashed, we will remember. Isn't it? Good things, it goes in, I don't know when it evaporates, it evaporates. It's very difficult to retain. Imagine we have been, right since we are born till now. Many times this happens in my life. When I'm traveling to various places, there are so many incidents that occur, so many things that happen, so many people, so many faces. And suddenly when I go to that place and see these different faces that I had acquaintance earlier, till I see their face, probably I would not remember anything. The moment I see a face, or I see a situation, I see a place, everything comes back. Now what surprises me is, where was this memory so many days? I was never like trying to remember all this. I was not trying to memorize all these things. Like we have been taught, like, right since you were 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, since that age. I don't know how many times my knuckles had broken trying to learn them in sequence. If you miss it at home, you don't miss it at school. If you miss it at school, you don't miss it at home. I'm talking of breaking knuckles. You're made to memorize all that. But these details, I've never tried to memorize them. But the moment I go into that place, all those memories come back. And you might have gone into a lane which you have never been. Once maybe you have gone. And the moment you was, I think I know this street. And all those memories are refreshed with this fresh experience. And such huge, unimaginable memory that we have. Ever expanding. And gone are the days when, in early days of computers, and 1 meg was such a huge deal. Those days when you used to have those cards, 1001, those punching cards, you would read them. I only have vague memory of having seen them. And today the cell phones that you carry have a better things than those computers of those days. In spite of that, those memories, your computers you buy, every time you think that this is a newer technology, and the day you have purchased something, the next day you see that in the newspaper that the technology is upgraded. In whatever pattern, whatever fashion. And you purchase that memory and you think at least 5 years ago or 4 years ago, something like 100 gigabytes. Wow. Today people talk of terabytes as though it was like, mungfali. And the affordability and right, because every time that memory that you purchase falls so short that you start purchasing more memory. Thank goodness, this is ever expanding. One USB hanging here. 2008, memories of 2008 hanging from here. Or constant upgrades of the hard disk inside. From the hard disk, what is it, the new ones are called? They are called SSDs. Solid state drive. Upgrade to that. And imagine, the operating system doesn't require any kind of tweaking. First they release one Vista package 1, package 2, package 3, they keep the operating system that we have, mind and intellect, we don't need any upgradation. I'm talking only the functioning part of it, not the data part. The functionality of it is such beautiful. The capacities of its functionalities are amazing. That is our inner Kshirasagara. In that inner Kshirasagara, the bulk of the memory is the Mantharachala. It's huge. With all those memory, meaning all our experiences, is Mantharachala. So far we have seen, there is Devas, there is Daityas. Good patterns, bad patterns. Good tendencies, bad tendencies. Talents misused, talents abused, and talents that could be used well. So there is always this polarity inside, and constantly there is a war. Constantly. You have taken a vow. No, and what do you call for the new year? A resolution. In terms of spirituality it was a vow, but in terms of new year it is a resolution. On the New Year's day, the resolution has large megapixels. Somehow after 1 week, it gets so grainy that you can't see everything clearly. You say, I'm not going to eat extra sweets. Whatever is in the tea, coffee is fine. There are some people who do reverse. They'll say dieting. खाने में 2-3 लड्डू खा जाएंगे. But when it comes to tea, coffee, I am dieting. Don't add coffee. Don't add sugar in my coffee. It is like when you see a double cheeseburger and Coke, Diet Coke. And you made a resolution. And no more of this junk food. And you see, inside it is screaming. Whatever was your habit, you said, no more of that habit. Inside it is screaming. And finally, that resolved resolution breaks. This one time never ends. So the Daityas win. So who gets more grip? The Daityas have larger content of grip. Devas here and there sometimes win by mistake. Good tendencies, positive tendencies win by mistake. Even in the most sattvic stage, there are Daityas. There is a hidden agendas, and those only the mind understands, our own mind. Now, moving forward in the next chapter, these Daityas and Asuras, they go now to the Nagaraja. Te Nagarajam amantriya phalabhage navasukim pariviya girau tasmin netram abdhim mudanvitaha. Now with the earlier transaction with Mantharachala, they have gained experience. The easier way to convince is to give them a share in it. You are a shareholder. The moment they met Vasuki, the first thing they said, Phala bhagena Vasuki. Hey Vasuki, you will get a bhaga of that phala that we are anticipating from this Kshira Sagara Mathana. You will also get that Amrita. And without any hesitation, Vasuki said, where? At what time should I be there? So along with the Devas and Daityas, Vasuki also reached. And now they requested Vasuki to go around the Mantharachala, 2-3 rounds. So there was a tail end and there was the head end. Tannai chandaitya patayaha mahapurusha cheshtitam. Now with this hurry, with all the Devas, they went to the head side to hold the snake. The Daityas did not like that idea. You know what they said? Nagranhimo vayam puchham ahehe amangalam. The tail end is the amangala end of the snake. Now today we hold the Swarga, and their claim is, we have also gone through our Swadhyaya. We have also good sound logic as our backing. So you cannot just throw us away to the tail end. the Devas started getting agitated, started taking out their swords, and the Lord hinted. They said, there are some battles you have to choose to lose. Give it. So, with a lot of murmurs, they shifted to the tail end. And all these Daityas with a lot of pride took over to this side of the head. Now as they started churning, huge Mahakaya, all these Daityas and Asuras and these side Devas, they started pulling and churning that. As they started seeing, the Mantrachala is going down. All those, all that mountain started sinking in deeper and deeper. Now you will see that the Mantrachala, when you place, and at that moment when it is being placed, there was sand, and then you place it on that sand, it was okay. It was stable, it was looking stable. The moment they started churning, it started sinking in. And as they started, getting afraid, looking into that sinking Mantrachala, they got scared. And again they thought of the Lord. They said, the Lord says, the mistake that we have done. The mistake that we have done is we have started this activity without thinking of Lord Ganesha. Chalo, koi galat kaam nahi. Let's start with Ganesha Puja. Vilokya Vignesha Vidhim Tadeshvaro. He saw that there was too many Vignas, when you bring Mantrachala, there was something happening. Again, you start this by convincing everybody and pulling them into one single track focus. There's again something happening. Said, you all start with the puja of Ganeshji. So they did the puja of Ganeshji. In the meantime, Kachapam Adbhutam Mahat. There was this great huge form of Kachapa meaning a tortoise. So Lord Narayana, in this story itself, you will find multiple avatars of the Lord. The first avatar of the Lord is that he becomes the Kachapa avatar. He becomes the tortoise. So he goes down and goes under the mountain and gives it a little lift. Humko bhi zara lift kara de. So the Mantrachala got lifted. There was a solid grounds now. On the tortoise, that back, it was really very hard. So on that Mantrachala was looking very stable. So again the Devas on one side and the Daityas on one side started churning. And the Lord, who was down, he said, after ages I have had this beautiful opportunity. When you feel the itch on that unreachable part of your body, I feel so bad and sad for these. In India I used to see buffaloes. For us, when we have, we can scratch at our backs or wherever we have to reach. And in that unreachable corner, you get those lengthy hands, wooden ones, plastic ones. And if by mistake you have had your Yajnopavita, Upanayana done. No, I was not dancing. The Yajnopavita, that's what they do. Scratch their back. Now these buffaloes, you look at them, they can't move their hands. The tail is the small little tail. What can it do? So when it finds a wall or a pole, what does the buffalo do? Lean onto that wall, on that particular portion or patch where it is feeling scratch, and then Now poor Kachapa Maharaj, the 4 legs that he has hardly can twist around to reach anywhere on that shell, hard shell. He says, after ages, such a relief. Such a relief that this Mantrachala is moving on it. I am feeling that all the itch on my back has been gratified. बहुत मजा आ रहा है, करो करो. Now when you find somebody doing good massage on your back, and with that firmness that you like, मजा आ रहा है. So Kachap Maharaj really enjoyed it. He says, Mene anga kanduyan aprameyaha. You cannot imagine aprameyaha. You cannot imagine what kind of pleasure I am getting out of this Mantrachala moving on my back. Now then it created another problem now. Now underneath this shell gave a good foundation and Mantrachala was moving, but then because of that firmness it started jumping up. When you start moving, and because of churning, the Mantrachala started jumping upward. Again they started praying, "Oh Lord!" The Lord said, "Okay, fine." So underneath he was there, and up that Mantrachala, he put his own hand firmly pressing that Mantrachala down. And now do. After a while, they again prayed for him. Said, "Lord, we have another problem." And as I was reading through this story, what I got reminded of was, what was that movie wherein they constantly call in Houston, Houston, Apollo 13, right? Whenever they have Houston, Houston, they keep calling Houston. And when I saw that movie first time, I didn't know Houston would be just this far away from me. Similarly, these two times when they start doing it, they say, again we have a problem. What is the problem now? Because of a tight hold, Vasuki is feeling tired. And because of that tight hold of that Vasuki on the Mantrachala is crumbling. So finally the Lord decides, you know what? I'll become the Shakti in the Asuras, I'll become the Shakti in the Devas, I'll become the binding agent in the Mantrachala, I'll become the enthusiasm and strength in Vasuki. Imagine, who is underneath is the Lord. Who is holding it firm is the Lord. Who is keeping the entire mountain bound is the Lord. Who is giving the strength to the Asuras, to the Devas and the Vasuki? The Lord himself. Now after having rejuvenated with the Lord's presence as Shakti in them, they started further vigorously churning. When you start doing some physical activity, like when you're jogging or not just jogging but cardio, and you're doing your cardio, you're sweating, and then your breathing has gone faster and your breath has become hot. Now as the Vasuki was being churned, moved up and down, with that vigor of both the Devas and Daityas, Nagaraj started breathing heavy. And his breath started getting contaminated with his poison bags. So along with his breath, exhalation was coming out all the poisonous breath. Now who were there standing there? They fought for it, right? The Daityas, everybody, all the Daityas, including Bali, Ilvala, and then Kaleya, all these great warriors on the Daitya side, they fell unconscious because of that poisonous breath. It was not just contaminating on one side, as it was just the breath, it was mixing with the air and it started affecting the Devas. Now the Devas were like, ho gaya, acha hua. And the moment they were like trying to tease the Daityas, they found that many of these Devas were also falling, fainting down. And looking at this, the Lord said, all these poisonous gases raising around, he said, let there be rain. And there was this gentle breeze, and all these poisonous airs were brought down. There was the pure air now, because the water from the rains had cleansed the atmosphere. But in this cleansing process of air, what happened? All that poison with that water got back into the Kshirosagar. And vigorously when they started, first thing that came out in large quantities, huge quantities, was this Visha or poison, which was Kalakuta. Kalakuta, very strong poison. It was called Halahala. Now this Halahala's effect was so strong that all the living beings in that ocean started surfacing out, trying to escape this Halahala. Even before it started coming, they started escaping from that place. Probably these living creatures around in that Kshirosagar were waiting for that Amrita Kalsha. We were also a part of it. Maybe we'll get a little, by mistake, and it falls, you can take something. They were ready waiting. When they saw Halahala forming, they ran away from that place. So now with this Halahala coming, they went with various people for Sharanagati. Finally, they went to Lord Shiva. Arakshamana sharanam sadashivam bhita praja dadruvaranga seshwara. So they go to Sadashivam, to Lord Shiva. Prajapatayaha uchuhu. This is where I get the dialogue from. They do all namaskar expecting chamatkar. The moment all of them start praising, Deva Deva Mahadeva Bhutatman Bhuta Bhavana Trahina Sharanam Panna Trailokyad Ahanad Vishat. Vishat, Trailokyam. These entire three worlds are being poisoned by this Halahala. So Lord Shiva turned around and looked at his wife, Sati. His wife, Sati. That is why he is called Satishaha. Ishaha, the Lord of Sati. So when he turned to Sati and said, may I? He informed. Though she knew what would be the effect of this Halahala, just with her eyes she conveyed, Lord, you may, but just be careful. She just blinked her eyes. Now Lord Shiva comes to that Kshirosagar, bends down, he takes the entire Halahala in his hands and drinks it up. In Shiva Purana, this particular part is further extended. But in Bhagavatam, just this much portion is taken, and I said even this Halahala was so powerful that it affected Lord Shiva too. That his kantha became blue. And the other side aspects wherein Sati comes running, Tishtha, Tishtha, and holds Lord Shiva's kantha. This you will find it enumerated with further details in Shiva Purana, wherein she stops that poison going inside, because the entire Chaturdasha Bhuvanani, when the 14 worlds which form Lord Shiva's body is inside, which would get burnt. So she stopped it right here. So that is why he is called Neelakantha. Praskannam pibatah panehe yat. As he was drinking praskannam, there was one drop of that halahala which fell down. One drop. And this one drop was shared between animals or creatures like scorpions, snakes, and all these varieties. Just that one drop was shared among all these creatures. And all the poisonous plants. When you come in contact with these plants, you have funny reactions. Have you gone to this poison ivy? Khujal, you start itching, and it's not funny actually when you start working in such gardens. In Austin we had gone, the Yuva Kendra camp, 25-30 of youngsters. Said, let's do something for environment. Said, okay. So we went into state park. They were renovating that state park without disturbing the natural plantation there. And there were a lot of weeds that they wanted to pull out without disturbing the original plantation. So they explained what plants to pull and what not to pull, and what kind of terrain that they wanted to maintain, so that we would go in one way and come out in one way. In all this gadbad, we were not informed that it was infested with poison ivy. Evening we come and we took shower, and I usually sit little on a raised platform, so seeing all 30 busy hands. I should say 31, including mine. So what happened then? Constantly everybody is itching, scratching, and what happened was it was infested with those poison ivy, and then it also had that ticks, right? Those little bugs. Everybody had to go through it. It is such a painful thing. So that Visha was shared with all these beings. Now let us pause here to understand the significance so far. With a constant debate, do not try to start branding, saying that all these, we have a polarity inside between the good and bad. Both are useful. Bad is also useful, good is also useful. Like yesterday when we were reading Tulsi Ramayana, in Tulsi Ramayana, Tulsi Das ji is doing Khala Vandana. He is praising and prostrating, doing worshipful prostrating to all the dushtata that is available in the world. This is why he says, dushta people, dushta and shishta, sadhu and asadhu, they both give us dukkha. Even sadhu gives you dukkha. So yes, the sadhu, the Santa Purusha, gives you dukkha when they separate from you. When they go away from you, you feel dukkha. Whereas asadhu, they give you dukkha even with the memory of them. So Gurudev puts it in the most powerful way, and he twists it around and uses it. He says, there are two kinds of people that give you happiness. Those who come to give you happiness and those who go to give you happiness. So both are useful. The reason I am mentioning it here is that most of us, those who are in the midst of so many negativities around, see, as long as you don't recognize them, ignorance, they say, is blissful. As long as you are not aware of it, you lived in your own ignorance blissfully. The moment you start growing subtler and you start seeing these dense forests of negativities, in the initial days you don't find it that difficult at all. Say, okay, I understand the logic, it is easy. But when you start putting that logic into practice and see these huge layers of negativities, it is such a sinking feeling, first thing. Like, you go out, and I really have a lot of sympathies for women who have chosen in the name of freedom to go work also. Work, you work at home too. Work, normally we tend to relate it with a paycheck at the end. As if the other things that we do which don't have a paycheck is no more a work. That is also work. So you have done the entire day's job at your office efficiently. You had to spend 2 hours in the morning extra, and it got extended 1.5 hours in the evening extra, and you come home. Go down. When you look at this stream that flows, what will be the contents of that stream? Simple logic. Your dirty clothes, when you put it in soap water and take those clothes out after soaking for a certain while, before rinsing it, that bucket full of water, soap water, what does it turn into? Bucket of dirty water. If that dirt is not coming out, that means the processing of sadhana or the detergent that you have added is not showing any effect. It is good that the dirt comes out as a first result. There is nothing wrong. Let the dirt be washed out in as many washes it takes. The more you start recognizing that there is dirt washed out, the better it is. Because the sooner you will reach to the core of a settled mind. I'm not talking of core of being here, settled mind, purer mind, stabler mind. And that dirt, when it is coming out, become Neelakantha. Do not let it affect your heart, and do not spit it out into the world. Where do you keep it? Kanthe sthitaha. At a nice positioning wherein you can observe it without getting affected, without releasing it as an expression into the world outside. People say, I'm meditating and come out, a lot of sadhana being done. Swamiji, I have, people go to Kashi and give up all these funny things. I have given up my anger. And in their house, this young chap working as a servant, bringing water, the water spills. But Swamiji, I have left my anger. The entire thing is totally messed up. It is not to be spit out on the people, on the environment outside. Everybody is carrying a baggage. Whatever is the amount of baggage, everybody feels that they are carrying the globe on their head. Do not burden others with your trash. There's enough already there. At least help them reduce theirs. Don't add yours in there. And even in that sharing of pain and sorrow, we compete. Right? I'm taking just a simple example at a physical level. I have such knee pain. What do you talk about your knee pain? Last time when I had such bad. Even in ill health you compete. Let the others share their pain. You don't need to jump in with your comparison of greatness in pain. So Vivekananda used to say something very inspiring, which has always been the key for me in my life. Frustrations are common for those who are working with mind. Cannot handle your frustrations? Go into the bathroom, flush out your frustrations, put a smile back on that dirty face, come out and face the world. And he was very powerful speaker in the way he would put things. Flush out your frustrations, put a smile on what face? On that dirty face, and come back and face the world with a smile. That is called being a Nilakantha. Now after this halahala, you know how to handle that. It is not said that it will be totally gone. I'm talking of the mind and its tendencies. I'm not saying that it will be totally gone at that level. It will still be there, but at least now you know not to get influenced by it. Stand by on the side and observe it as an observer, uninfluenced, unrelenting to be influenced by it. And your patience is the key here at this stage. How much patience do you need? Mountains of patience. It has to be that firm also, that patience, like a mountain. Then you start seeing some wonders happening. What are these wonders? That we will see tomorrow. We have seen one aspect of it today. The other beauty aspect of it, we will see tomorrow. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.